All right, we'll start. Okay. Hello. Attention, guys. So, welcome to the first Unity workshop for this semester. So, I'm Arnav Malhotra at the bottom. Cliff is the president who helped me make the slides. So, what will we be covering this lecture? Would be we'll create a project. I'll tell you how to navigate Unity, how everything looks and works, how what a game object is, how components work, and some very basic like C sharp scripting. Also, I teach you the older input system because that's easier and I don't have time. Yeah. So who am I? So this is a picture I got from the welcome tea itself. So I'm Arnav. I have around 3 years of experience in game dev. I'm a year three CS student right now. So I did internship before school also, and yeah, I make educational games for JCs or polys, etc. Like a lot of games for them. Actually, one of my games is being played right now in a school. Um, I have double A experience, not triple A yet, and I worked on a lot of projects with NUS. So with Duke NUS, I made a what's it called, like an anatomy teaching model thing, and also with a lab called NUS Cute Lab, I made a VR game with them, and I won the Rookies Game of the Year for a mobile. It's a really bad mobile game, but I won. So also some hobbies. I love swimming, and nowadays I only play Valorant. So all right. So here's the QR code so everyone can get started. Take a seat anywhere if you can find. And maybe you all can just take a photo or something, and then you can, if you all want, I can come back to it later at the end. Just take a seat anywhere is okay. There should be a seat there. All right. So, okay. First, before we get to all of this, I think, uh, yeah, I was gonna do a small thing where everyone stands up, but there's too many people, so let's skip the introduction part, I guess. So let's just start with the installation and all that. So, oh, before that, I can show you some of the games I built. This is Wayfinders. I made an educational game for autism awareness, and made this game with the Singapore Police Force, and just to like get you some confidence in who I am. So to start, let's just start by installing Unity. If you all have not, I don't think you can right now, but I'll open Unity Hub, and feel free to follow along as you go. Yep. So when you open Unity, you'll see this kind of tab. This is the Unity Hub. So this is the newest version right now. I am signed into my account. If then you should right now. Just do it really quick. And you can now create a new project and wait for it to load in. You can use any version above 6, so should be okay. Any version above 6 should be okay. And feel free to just like name whatever tutorial project and then save it wherever. And I think you all should use the universal 2D. So this means that all of the things that are used in 2D will already be pre-installed. Even if you pick 3D or anything like that, you can also install them later. So it's not a big issue, but helps to get started. So and then you can create the project. Just click on it. I won't because I already have a project ready. And I open it. Yep, so anything above 6. And hopefully we'll wait for it to load. Alright, so is everything okay with everyone? Is the Unity opening for everyone? Okay. Alright, so okay, I'll go through what the Unity layout is actually. So on the left side here or here is the hierarchy. So this is the layout of your scene. So in Unity, like each level in a game or something is a separate scene. So this will be the layout of your scene. Initially, you'll just see like a directional light, main camera. So just the very basic, like what you need to get going. And here is just I have just made the player ground, etc. I'll get to that later. So the hierarchy is where you'll be adding all of your objects that you want people to see. So, for example, I want a block to appear. So I can right click here. I can go to 2D object, or if you guys have it open, if you have a 3D editor open, then you have to go here and go on 3D. I'll go on 2D. Click on sprite. Sprite means an image, so it's just there'll be a white triangle here, and then here you see it here. So I'll call this my triangle. Yep. And now you added a triangle to your scene, and you can also drag them up and down and all that. And yep, so that's pretty much it for the hierarchy. Now let's go to the top, this bar here, if you all can see. So this is the scene window. This is how you'll edit everything, how you'll move things around. You can move stuff around, you can drag them left, right, etc. Like everything that you'll need to do to make a game is going to be done here. The game window is to like simulate how the game looks through your camera. And so this will be how anyone who's going to be playing your game is going to see the game. And the rest of them you won't have for right now. That's for next lectures. Then we have the inspector on the right side. And what this does is so each object that you see here is called a game object. So what a game object is just an object in your game, very simple. So each of these objects have components. So what a component is just anything that you want to do to your object. You need to attach a component. For example, if I want this to be let's say I want some effect, I want this to be a particle system, then I'll add a particle system component. We can also make our components. We'll get to that later, which we will be covering in the scripting part of the lecture. And yeah, so everything that you see on the right side is a component. And how Unity works is a component based system. So each object is made up of components that you attach to it, that you can manipulate, that you can use. So anything like that. So on the player, I'll have a component called the player like script, and then that is the thing that will make the player move. If I want, for example, my triangle to be the player, I'll just drag that component, put it on my triangle. So I'll just show you how to do that. So I'll just find it here and I drag it here, and yeah, it's here now. And Yeah. So all of your components or anything you want to store or scripts or anything are stored in the project window. So this is how Unity is going to be storing all of your assets and all of your assets. So this is the asset folder. So usually you would section it out like animations, prefabs, scenes, scripts, etc. But you can just leave it however you want. It's there's no rules to it. And on the asset window, you can create new assets. So similar to how you create an object in the scene, you can also create them here. You can also drag objects from the scene to this thing, to your asset, to your project window, and that's how you will do it. Let me go back to the slides really quick. Yeah.
Is there a chance I can get more chairs?
I'm not sure. Is there any extra chair not used? Look inside. All right, so we covered the Unity layout. So this will be a hierarchy window, the scene game window, inspector window, the project console window. The console I'll cover later when we get to scripting. So what are game objects in a more formal definition? You can read it here. It's an object in your game. That's all. You can just see it. Sometimes you can't see it. It's just an object in your game. This is how you make your game basically. Everything in your game would be a game object. And here are components. We have different sort of components. There are some components that come on your object by default. This is the default one is called transform. So the transform component has your position, rotation, and scale. So these are Euler values. Euler means it's like a, how do I say it? If you rotate it, okay, so this is a pen. So you can rotate it on the X, Y, Z. I'm not sure which one is this, but you can rotate on the X, Y, and Z, and it will apply those rotations in a certain order, and that will make you. That's how you rotate your objects. Similar, the position you can drag it left, right, up, down, and this is a 2D game, so you can't do what's it called, back and forth. I mean, you can see it, but that's because the camera is 3D. But you won't be able to see it that much. It'll just get bigger and smaller for you. Yeah. So all right. First of all, like any question, like feel free to. This is not a lecture, nothing. I'm just a student. Can just ask anything you want. So, everything okay? All right, all right, all right. No. That's just I just got a like a base, like yeah. So to like teach you what to do and stuff. So this is like the project that I opened is actually the final project I just made for the class. So you can play through it, I guess. It's like a geometry dash sort of. Okay, we died there. So like it has jumps and all that. So I'll get to that later. But you won't have anything. You'll just have the main camera, directional light. I think you will have global volume. The rest of them are in there. That's something you have to create on your own. All right. So to start, I think everyone should like start creating a sprite. Just create a square and just like have it there, just to like get the feel of it. And let me know when you're done. Like a really simple, just make a square to get started. If you'll have Unity opened. All right. Hopefully Alright, hopefully you were able to make a square. I don't know how many you attempted. Just you're supposed to just click 2D, go to 2D sprite and square, and then there's your square. That's all. All right. So for now, just remove all of these things. All right. So let's move on to scripting now. Now we know how Unity looks and feels. So scripts, like the code that you're making, are also components. So you attach them to game objects or any sort of objects that you have. So to make a player that I want to move, I'll attach a player movement script, which is a component to the player game object. So how will I do that? I'll go here. I'll click 2D sprite, make a square. This square will be our player. This is our player, and then we can go to add component to add a component, and just like type what you want the script to be named. So I can say like Arnav player script, and then you can click on new script because it's not a already existing component. You create new script. You can create an add, and it's compiling in Visual Studio now. It'll take some time to load to compile everything. And there's your script object. So this is on the player, which is this one, and you can use this script to manipulate everything about the game and the player. So if anyone has any trouble, you can just ask it. So what I can do is, now that I have the script component, I can double click either here, or Unity automatically has created a component in the project itself here, in whatever the asset, whatever it is in the project window, it will just be a script component, script object here. You'll be able to see it when you create it. And then you can go ahead, either double click here or click here to open it in Visual Studio or whatever editor you want. I have Visual Studio, so I'll open it in that. Some time to open, and here we have it. So in this lecture, I'll be covering really basic C# for Unity, very basic C#. So what I'll go over for now is that I'll just show the slides again. Yep. All right. So how many of you guys are from CS, computer science? So okay, there are people from non-CS background, so that's good. Last time we had none from non-CS. So because there are people not from CS, I'll just cover what C# is itself. So what C# is, it's a object-oriented programming language. It's also, I think, statically typed. So statically typed. So this means that whenever you create a variable, a float, or something like that. What? That's the projector screen. Okay. Okay, we'll see that later. The other person will think of it. What? Yeah. This is before. Alright. So I'll just type it here, I guess. So It's a static object oriented language. So what that means is whenever you create a variable in C sharp, you have to specify what type of variable it is. So when you have a float, which is a number with points, or let's just go with int. So int is an integer, and you have to specify that it's I'm creating an int, and the name of this int is gonna be my int, and this is your integer that you've created already, and that's why it's a statically typed language because you're specifying integer here. Meanwhile, in like languages like Python, yeah, or to download Unity, and that'll take a bit of time. I think it's a few GBs, right? I think you can follow along on a video. We'll record this, but yeah, can feel free later. So with an integer, what you can do is specify a default value. So this is the value when it's gonna be this object is gonna be spawned. So this integer is 0 in the starting. So this can be, for example, like your health. So it can be like 100 health. So I start off with 100 health points, and yeah, so my health is 100 in the starting. Then I can later go on to edit it however I want, and yeah. So C sharp also comes with some default uh, types of variables. There's integers. There's also floats. Float is a integer. It's just an integer, but you can specify like a point, like 0, like 1.2 or something like that. So I'll just create float health 2 is 1.2 f, and f just means that it's a float. So with every float, you'll have to specify at the end of the number that we have a f, and then yeah, and at the end of every line you have a semicolon. So this means that this is the thing I want to learn, and we'll just end of every single statement in C sharp with a semicolon. Yep. Then you'll have variables like booleans. Booleans is a true or false value, so either 0 or 1. So boolean is player, and it can be false or it can be true. Yep. Then you have there's a lot of other variables that I won't be covering. This is just to give you a very basic rundown. There's also so Unity itself gives you access to a lot of different variables. So as I said, a game object, you can just create a game object through your script, and this will be a type of game object, and you can call it my object, and this is your game object type. Then there's other types which is like animator, all of that. Like you can specify a lot of different things. Yeah, let's go to the slides again. Yeah. So there's also like transforms. These are all the different types. Don't get scared if you don't know this. These are different types that I'm naming down. But right now the issue is that I have this player script, but I can't change it in the editor anywhere. We have this value, this health value, but we don't have access to it here. So how do we access it? So that's where access modifier comes in. So access modifier is either private, public, or protected, and it specifies how you can access the variables in Unity. So a private variable is just as we made right now. Or actually, all of the default specifier for each game object is private. So these are all private. So you can't. Right, this is load. So you can't see it here right now. However, if I make the health, the integer, sorry, public, and we save it, and we go back here, then we have access to our health 100 over there, and here I guess. And then here you can drag the health bar however much you want. Like if you want to start off with 100 health, you can either like just type 100 or, and you have your 100 health here. Or if you want the player to start off like dead, you create a 0 health. And this is how you're gonna expose the variables that you have inside Unity to the editor itself. So this is how, for example, if you have a designer in your game whatever game you're making, you'll go ahead and expose the health variable to them. Then if they want to go ahead and have an enemy, like a play enemy object, then they can just go ahead and be like, oh, the health of the enemy will be like 20 or something like that, and they can just very easily go on and do that instead of going into every single script and putting like 20, 10, all of that. You can just localize inside your editor, so every designer can just go in and change it really quick. And yep, then there's objects like game objects. So what happens when we make a game object public? I'll just make a public game object, because game object isn't a type that we usually know in. It isn't a type outside Unity. It's a type that Unity made itself. So we have a empty game object reference to it. And what you can do now, you can drag in any game object you want. This one, this whatever game object you have here. Even if you have a game object inside your project, you can just drag it in inside there, and really simply have reference to it. So I'll drag the light, and so now I have this. I drag the light, this component, directional light component, inside my square, inside my or inside my player script, and now I have a reference to the light itself. So that's good. So what can we do with the game, with the uh, light object that we have inside here? So this is just replacing it for the light object. So this will be the light object because we assigned it inside the editor. So what can we do with it? Well, a lot of things. We can go ahead and in this start function. This is a function given by Unity. We can specify like game object dot set active is false. So what I'm saying is so when the game starts, I want this game object to be set to false. This is how you'll translate it to like English, how you'll say your coding thing. This when the game starts, you want this game object to be set to false, and that's how you'll do it. So we have that, and okay. So now if we go ahead and start the game by clicking on this arrow button here, we start it, and you'll see that this directional light will be set to like disabled. Set to full screen. Yeah, it's disabled here. You can see how it's grayed out here, and it's disabled. So this is like your first game you're making. Let's go to the script again. Yep. So if we want if we want a variable to be private, but we also wanna
If you change your public health to let's say 20 inside the editor,
yeah,
and when you publish the game or you like port the project to a different computer, health be 10 or 20? follow script on the editor?
Oh, so basically, the health here, the editor will always override the health in your script. So when you go ahead and create create 100 here, so even if I'll just change it now, I'll make it like this number, what the number is, and this will load. And it's overridden it, and it's 0 now. So even though we specified it in the editor, in the script, it's 0 now. So yeah. So every single object, when you create a new one, whenever you create a new one, you can add this in, and this will give a default value to the script. But whenever you change it in the editor, that will be the new default value that you're going to be using. All right. So what if you want a variable that's still private, but you just want to edit it in the editor like one time? So for example, the health, right? You wouldn't want it to be public throughout, because then other objects, other scripts, other programmers can just go and change your health number really easily. Just like I don't know, the enemy goes and just changes your health to 0 like suddenly. So what you want is you need a default way to assign this in the editor, but still want this thing to be private. So this is a bit advanced, but what it is, if you don't understand this part, it's okay. It's not really needed. What you can do is do square brackets, serialize field, and what this will do is that even though it's private, this field is still serialized. Serialization means you can still edit it in the editor, but after that it's private, and no one else can access it in the whatever script you have. No one else can access it except this script here, and that's how you do it. All right, so we have serialized field. Let me cover what start and update actually are. So what these are default functions given by Unity that you use to start or update your game. So what the Unity runs on is called a runtime execution order. So all of these functions that you have here, you have start, update. There are other functions called awake, on enable, on GUI, like very different use cases. So what this will do is it will run in a certain order, or however many times you want. The start will only be run when you click on the arrow button in the top, the play button at the top. That's when the function will be called, and this will be on every single script that you make. And so if I want like to print something when the game starts, I'll just make a debug.log and hello, and this will just something to the console, which is let it load first, which is here. And when I start the game, it prints. Okay, it's full screen. It's gonna print hello here. So because of that script that we have on that object, it's gonna print hello in the console. The console is just to print things, to print errors, to print warnings, whatever like that. So if you have faulty code in your script, then the editor is where you will see it and be able to debug your game basically. Similar. So debug.log, you can debug a lot of different things. You can debug warnings, you can debug errors to simulate what it would be like if you have a warning or error. And yeah, so I think that should cover it for a start. You also have functions called awake. So awake has a really special use case. Awake is just called before start. That's it. It's just called before start. There's no other use case for it. It's just if you want some sort of code that's run right before you do your like initialization of your game in the start uh, function, you just put in the awake. So if I want debug.log I'm initializing, and I put debug.log I'm awake, and you play awake and initialize. I'll not go through that because you don't have time, but yeah. And then the main function that your game will rely on the most is the update function. So what the update function does is it's run every single frame. So whatever GPU you have, whatever speed your laptop is, it's going to be running on a certain FPS. I hope everyone knows what that is. So it's going to be running every frame. So if I put something like, for example, very heavy code, and we don't want it to run every single frame, we'll not put it here because it's very uh, if you put a lot of stuff here, it can cause your game to lag a lot. And so basically, by nature, what we're updating here is going to be things that you want to be changing every single frame. So if you have a player you wanted to move, you put it here. All the movement for logic, so all the logic for movement will be here. So when you want to press the left button and it goes to the left side, that's all here. Because the awake and the start, they just have like really they just use at one time, so it's going to be running one time, and we don't want that. We don't want a player to just click left once and then the game ends, right? So that's the update function. So the goal of this lecture is just to make the player move. So I'll just show you how that would be done. So in every game object, you'll have a component called the transform component. The transform component, as I said, is the position, scale, rotation. That's how you'll control it. So what you'll do now is through this script, what you can do is, because it inherits from mono behavior, which is also the reason we can drag everything in. That so by nature of that, what you'll have is that Unity has given you a lot of different has given you uncontrolled access to the game object that this component is attached to. So if this is attached to the player component, all of these things that I'm going to type are going to be belonging to the player object. So what I can type is transform. So transform, this is the transform component at the very top here of the object that this thing is attached to. So this is the transform component of that. And what I can do is, a transform is three values. It's a x, y, and z. So it's a vector with three dimensions. And what you can do is you can add them. You can do whatever sort of logic you want. You can make it move around per frame. So how you'll do that? You go here. You go transform. Then transform has a value called the position, and what you can do is just is equal to, and you can specify what the position is now. So this is the how I'll specify. So we're gonna be assigning a new position to the object that this script is attached to, and this will be, for example, we want like transform dot position plus vector 3 dot right into 2. Okay, so that's a lot of code. So what this does is that it takes the transform position and then it assigns it. Now what is it assigning it to? It's assigning it to the transform position plus a vector facing to the right direction into 2. Just adding a small right position to the object that we have now. And then and then if I save it and I run the game, what you should see, yeah, it just vanished off the screen. And then it'll just go really fast, so it'll just like you won't be able to see it, I think. Yep, it's gone. So that's how you made your first movable player. But what if our PC is really slow? What if we have a PC that is like a potato PC, Then the frames per second for that would be really, really less. So for example, my PC is like a really good gaming PC. This runs on like, I don't know, 144 FPS. If you have like some really bad laptop, it run on like, I don't know, 20 FPS. Then every frame that we're adding this position, it's gonna be applying a two times vector right to the transform position, and it's going to be doing this every frame. So if you have a really fast PC, then it's going to be doing this 60 times per second or 144 times per second. So it's going to be moving really fast. But if it's a really slow PC, then it will do this 20 times per second. So how do we fix that? Because like for example, actually in Marvel Rivals recently, there was a bug where the characters were moving with different speeds on different laptops or different PCs and stuff. So I'm not saying that this is how they should fix it. I'm sure they know, but a sort of how they would fix it would be they would multiply this by a time dot delta time. I'll explain to you what that means. Now that we understand the problem that we have with each PC being slow or fast, what we need to do is change it based on what sort of PC you have. So if you have a really bad PC, you want the thing to move the same amount of distance as if you have a really fast PC. So if you have a player that's running on a really bad PC, you want it to move the same distance. So how we would do that? We just multiply it by the time dot delta time. So the formal definition for time dot delta time is the time difference between each frame. So if you have a really fast PC, that would be one. That, for example, I have 144 FPS. That would be 1 divided by 144. That's the time dot delta time for your PC. So similarly, if you have a really slow PC, that's 20 FPS. That'll be 1 by 20. That will be your time dot delta time. This will depend on whatever like sort of PC you have, whatever thing you're running in the background. If there's a lot of things in the game that can also slow your FPS down. But basically, now we know this, the frames per second can vary a lot because we have different things running in the background. We're doing different things on our laptop, so this can vary a lot. So we need the specific amount of time per frame. It's just like the time difference between each frame, and that's the time or delta time. Is that understood by everyone? Like the time or delta time is like the difference between each frame. So if you have two frames, this will be the time difference between the time it takes from frame one to frame two. That will be your time or delta time. And this is a really important concept for each game developer. Is that understood by everyone? Can we get a show of hands or something? Okay. Okay. All right. Good. So why did we multiply this here? So we want this. Okay, let's take the example of a really fast PC. So this PC is going to move, let's say, 2 units to the right in 0.001 seconds, and it's going to be doing this 144 times, or let's say 100. It's a 100 FPS PC because I can't do maths, and it's going to be 0.01 into 2 units. And then if you have a really bad PC, 10 FPS, that's going to be 1 divided by 10, 0.1. And then you're doing 2 units to the right into 0.1. But this is happening 10 times per second compared to 100 times per second. So essentially, each PC will move at the same pace because it's making up for whatever time delay it has with this time dot delta time code here. This is a really important concept. Make sure you understand it well. And so now I can also expose this value, this 2 here, because we want it to be like a speed, right? This is our speed of our player. And then I'll put here public float speed. And then now control the speed with which it will move to the right side. I saved it, now it's gonna load. So I'll just make the speed, okay, the speed is 0 for now. I like move it up slowly so you can see. So it's still, now every frame is trying to move by 0 seconds, by 0 units. And so if I put here 0.001 or so it's gonna start moving really slow, as you can see, really slow. Put 0.5 or 1 as moving to the right slower now. So it's making up for the speed of my PC, and so yeah, it's gone now. So yep, so that's how your time dot delta time will work. Again, it's a really important concept. Let me go back to the slides. Yeah, so this is the Unity execution order. It's really scary. Don't be worried. But if anyone wants to like work in the industry, I can't remember how many times I've been asked this exact thing. I would just remember it from the top to the bottom. Always works. And so what this does is it gives you the order in which the functions we have, like we have awake, we have awake start, fixed update, then there's the update here, late update, and on draw gizmos. So don't worry about that. But basically, it just specifies like when everything is run, like the holy grail for when you start out, and you can just access it like just Google like Unity execution order. I'll be the first one. All the images will be just that because people reference so much to it, and it's really important for everyone to know. So actually, I can go through some of them with you. So this is the awake. So the awake is run at the start of the game also, but before the start here. Then it's just like a precursor to awake. I'll just break down the basic parts of it. So a start, awake just runs when you press start, but before the actual start, very confusing. Then you have on enable. On enable is run when you just click here. When you disable it and then enable it, this will trigger on enable. So this will, if you hide it or unhide it. The fun thing about this is that this also runs in the editor. So if you want some sort of, I remember I made a tool for like just creating cubes on the screen, and I needed to calculate it in the editor because someone was using it before pressing start. So you can just put all of it in on enable, and it will run all the code inside, even if you don't press start. The rest of them are very dependent on when you press start or don't press start. So it's a sort of special function. There's the fixed update. So as I told you that the FPS of your laptop can vary a lot. So every single frame it can be like 0.2 to 0.8 and fluctuates a lot. But a lot of games have a specific frame rate. Like if I want to play Valorant, that'll be like 60 FPS, right? So how do we run something on a specified frame rate? How do we run something that's really stable and really works well? So this is the fixed update function. So the fixed update function is just a version of the update function which runs every every 60 seconds by default. You can also change it in the project settings, and it's really useful because you can use it for physics. You can use it for when you want the player to move, or and you not for input, anything other than input, because you want it to be done really like really accurately, and this makes sure it's really accurate. So all of your physics, all of your player movement, collisions, not collisions, will be done in the fixed update. Then we have then I think these ones are okay. Then we have on trigger, on collision. These are this will be taught in your lecture. It's just when you want to when you have two objects colliding like this will trigger a function called on trigger enter or on collision enter, depending on what sort of thing you have. Then you have the update here. So you can see fixed update is run before update, even if it's in the same frame. Then you have late update. Late update is really simple. It's just that it runs after update also, like awake and start. Then you have on disable. That's run when you disable an object. Then you on destroy. This is run one when you stop the game. When you press play, like stop the game from running, destroy runs. Or when you actually just destroy an object, then also destroy runs. So, and you need to understand all of them, but the important ones will be awake, start, and update. That's the main ones that you need. I think y'all can take a 5 minute break first. Yeah, can take a 5 minute break. We'll start at 8:40. Any questions can just come here. Hello.
I said like the speed and help, but I didn't get any like from
Show me the script. Oh, you didn't save it. Also, you said it this one public, so you only see the speed. Oh, yeah, you see the speed. Try it now. Open up. Oh, because it's wait, you don't have so you're not the right stuff. You don't have autofill on your thing. It doesn't fill automatically like code. Also, it's the capital S, not small s.
capital S. This one.
Yeah. Also, you should try to like Google the autofill. It's really easy, like because it auto completes whatever you want, right?
For VS Code.
I think VS Code, yeah. Usually people tend to use Visual Studio.
Do I? Wait, I saw like you can like
Yeah, you can try
get it.
extension. Yeah,
Yeah.
just Unity or something. Look up that.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Not like an error message. Like, I mean, it doesn't affect like
Where,
like they said this
where was it?
like this is like in my Visual Studio code, like cause I'm coding on here, so it can still work on Unity, like the code still works, but I don't know what this means. I don't know how to fix
I think
it.
you're better off Googling that one. Go on the
Yeah.
debug console or something. Debug console. Doesn't show any problems.
Just like this.
I think it should work when you restart or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Then
it
what
doesn't
is this like?
Zero references?
Like, how do I disable it or something, or what is the?
I
What's
don't
it
use
used
Visual Studio. I don't
What?
use this editor.
Oh,
I try to use for Unity. We usually tend to use Visual Studio
okay.
2022.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like this is you can just Google it. It's really easy. Like all right, let's start again. Attention, guys. All right, so I think a lot of you have this problem. So the console, which is this part, you won't be able to see it in the starting. If you have something red appearing here, just double click and you'll be able to see the console. So if does anyone have that problem? They can see red. So your game wouldn't run if you do that because it's an error. So it will just stop everything as soon as the error is it. And to go to the console window, you can just click on the console here. Really simple. All right, I'll start again. Okay, the break is over. So now let's cover how to actually do input. So how will you actually control when you press WSD or jump with space, all that. So we'll go through the older input system specifically because it's way easier. However, if you want to like make a game and you want it to support all sort of fancy things, you want keyboard, you want I don't know, weird like consoles or whatever you want, you can use the new input system. It's really simple, the same sort of logic. So how it works is I'll go through what an if statement is first if no one knows. So a if statement is just if, then you have something inside the brackets, then you do this thing. And so it says if the condition inside these brackets is true, then run whatever I have here. So I've not done anything here. If I want, I can specify like true then this will be run every single frame. False, then it won't be run, and Unity will, and this Visual Studio will give me error. So yeah, so if statement. So how would we use that for input? So what we want to do is, hey, I want to move if I press the D key on my keyboard. So how do we do that? We'll go here. We'll go on the condition for the if statement, and we'll enter input. So this is your input library. So capital I also, input dot, and there's a lot of different methods. A method is a function, and then you can specify what you want. So I want get button down, and this is also a function with parameters. So parameters is what you enter inside a function. Then you can do brackets close, and do key code dot d. It's get key down, sorry. Yep. So there's no error. It's just that if this key is pressed, and this is the key code D, so if the D key is pressed on your keyboard, then it will run this whatever I have here. So what do we want to run when it's here? We want it to move. So I'll just transfer this one up here. So I'll just copy Control X, I guess, and Control V, and save it. So now the game should work. Really simple. Hopefully it doesn't like run away. And I think the speed is 0 right now. Just increase the speed, and then I press D button. Alright, wait. So it's like running kind of, it's moving to the right side. Yep. So let me just try to fix. So you can see how I've done it here. It's like I'll just show you the finished one for now. So it's just that when you have your, one second. So it's like if you jump, then you jump, and it's a function. And if it's grounded, then you run the logic. So I'll show you how to do that now. Really simply. Well, first I'll cover what a function is. So let me fix the bug. Or it should work. So what if we wanna change, what if we wanna run a block of code, or we want something like we wanna divide our code into chunks? We'll use a function. So this is a default function specified by Unity. We can specify our own functions. So how I would describe a function is just a block of code. So you would do like, first you need to specify what is the access modifier, which is the public, private, protected, all that of the function. So if you want the function to be private, say private move player, and then the parameters. There's also a return value, so I'll do no return value, which is void. And then you do brackets open, brackets close. And this is how it should look to you. Yep. So now we have this function. So what the function is just it has a return value of void, so it's not going to return anything. The function name is move player. There's some parameters over here which we haven't set, and it's empty for now. So what I'll do is I'll move this thing inside here, and then I'll just put move player. I think I can change it to get key. So get key down, what it does is get key down only works as soon as you press the key down. It won't work when you keep it pressing down. You need to lift it up and press it down again. So what you want to do is put get key instead. This will make sure it's true whenever you're pressing it down. So if you want to make the player move continuously, the get key, and let me try to run it. Change the speed, and now it's running continuously. There's no lag. Celeste. So okay, that's a function. But what if we want the function to have some parameters? What if we want the player to also move when we want to have like the speed inside here? We want to be able to specify like a float speed that we're gonna change the move the player by. So we can just put a float inside here, a float current speed, and then we can change the speed to the current speed. So, and then we can just put whatever we have, like maybe speed or something. So what it will do is it will have this speed. It will put it, when you press B, it will put it inside this move player, and then the move player will make your player move by the speed inside your parameter. It will go down, it will change the current speed to this speed value and copy it over, and then you can make your player move basically. So it's really simple. Is everyone able to make the player move? What?
For me, I can move it with combo. It says that I have an active input handling set to input return package.
You would have changed
Change
the
the
whole
end
input
player and change the active player input to both. Because I just face an interest now.
Oh yeah. Could you share how you did that again?
So if you go to the let's go to edit.
Here.
Yeah,
Or-
edit.
oh.
Then
Oh, you're inside Unity, right?
in Unity,
Yeah. Hmm.
edit. Then current settings. Then go to player. Other settings. Okay? Or you can just search like active player.
Just 1 second, let me.
You scroll down like to configuration. You see like active input handling. We set like the new input system package. I can just use to move.
I don't have that setting here. Were you able to find that setting? Or- So were you able to find that? Alright. Again, where it is? Where is it? So I can share it with everyone. So where was the setting though?
You just scroll down. You just scroll down to configuration. You scroll down on the player page.
Yeah.
It's something called scroll down. It's another setting. Configuration active input handling.
Yep.
So like actually by default it was set at the new input system.
Yeah, so if anyone has just set it to both also. Project settings, player, other settings, then both. Okay. Alright. So I'll get started. So first let's make our Okay, let's make our player move to the left and the right. So how will we do that? Just similar statement. We just make another if statement. If input dot get key, then we put a key code dot a, and then we can specify speed, and we can just put negative. We can just put a negative speed here, and then yeah, and then we can make our player move to the left and the right. And then D is, let me just change the speed. This is our D and then A. So we have a moving player. Any problem? Alright. Any questions? Anything? Is everyone able to move their player? Alright, can we get a show of hands if you were able to do this? Alright. Anyone else? Okay. What's the issue with everything? The code? Yeah. Any question? Yeah, just use a negative speed. Really simple.
If you use else, you can
Else. I don't know. Else if I think. Yeah. Okay, just try to make this work really quick and then see. Okay. Did everyone get it to work again? Got it to work? So what's the issue? Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it is true when you're down slightly. And then when you lift it up, press it again, then it's let's do the first, let's do the first break that we have done. Yeah.
Because I know that there's some game function that you like.
Yeah.
None of the serialized and everything is not working at all.
Serialized field is not working.
Yeah, all of it is not working.
Oh,
It's not showing as a variable. It's just words.
You can show. You can bring.
You know,
maybe
I just want to read the top because I was listening to your lesson, but the problem is I don't know what to write.
okay. Any other problem anyone able to do it? Okay. I think today's goal was just to make the player move. Next lecture, I'll cover collisions, how to make the player fall on the ground, jump, all that. So I think for today this should be okay. You all are free to leave if you all want. If there are any issues, questions, can just come up here. I can just come to you. It's okay. Hey guys, I think for today our goal was just to like make the player move. So if you all have it done, feel free to leave already. But if you have any questions, can just come up, whatever you want. Next lecture we'll cover like collisions, physics, uh, jumping, all of that stuff. Maybe the animator if you have time. Do you play the game?
I just want to see it. Yeah. I felt it's quite cool how you're able to like reach out to organizations and try.
This is one of the games I made called Wayfinders, educational game. Yeah.
So this like for like one.
A few games. Actually, I work for GameStart.
Can I ask, like, how do you do, like, art stuff?
We have a team of 6 people already.
Because, like, I think, like, I'm okay at programming, but,
This
like,
one
in
is
terms of art, like, I'm never really very good. That's why I never really, like,
Yeah,
learned how
actually,
to
you
make
wanna
more
help?
games before.
Let me try to use this one. This is one more game with the collaboration with the Singapore police.
Interesting.
Yeah. Part-time student, that's one. Yeah.
Are you gonna erase it?
Are you gonna?
Is there even any way to erase it?
I don't know.
Alcohol.
I'll see.
Alcohol.
Yeah. Bring the soju. Yeah, if you want to play, you can actually test it out. We need play testing.
Oh, interesting.
Were you able to understand everything? Were you able to understand everything?
I had some errors. It's because not the same as.
Yeah, it's just so current speed is just parameter. So it's so function is like a block of a code. So it's just like a bunch of lines of code. You can run it wherever you want. So that's the point of a function. So what you want to do is just pass whatever value you want, and the current speed will be replaced by this speed. So you can also name it the same thing, whatever. The name doesn't matter. It's just a variable. It will store whatever you pass.
Oh, okay, so what's the difference? I
Between the
just
name.
wrote it as like so. Like what's the
Currently, there would be no difference. But the thing is, if we use, but the thing is, if we like, if we want to change the speed throughout the game or something like that, or if we, in most games, I believe that we wouldn't really have this. We will have it somewhere inside here. So then we will have access to the speed outside the function. We won't have it publicly available. So a private variable, right, is only available to the context. So this thing is only accessible to the script. But if we make a speed inside this update one. And this one is not accessible by this method, by this function, or this function. So this is so when you make something private, right? What you're doing is you're localizing it. That you have it, you can only access it inside the thing that you have put it under inside the thing that is private under. So for example, if it's private in the body of the thing of the code, then it's just accessible through the entire script. If it's private, if it's defined inside the start function, it's only accessible inside the start function. If it's accessible inside the update function, then it's only accessible inside the update function. But if we define it inside here, we can actually access it because it's in the base. It's not inside the function. It's inside the class. So we will be able to access it. But if we want like this, and we want to like maybe like specify like this is like 2 times speed or something, and this is like 2 times speed, then it's really easy for us to just do it here. Then
No, I mean like wait, so like if you don't put it like at just now there like at the start or whatever like then people can just like edit it. Or
they can edit it, but like there's use cases. It's not a good example right now. But like for example, if we have okay, we don't have it here, right? We have like a value which is like the float. So by default, it's a private value. So I put float speed equal to 20 or something, and I don't want it to be accessible to all the other functions or something like that. And I can just put it here, and then just like send it inside the move. That makes sense. That way we'll be able to have the speed be negative, whatever we want. This function is just responsible for moving it by whatever speed we have. So it's like dividing our tasks and making it easier. So, but if we do it just speed, right, and we copy this over, like we copy this over or something, this also works.
oh yeah, I did try that just now, but like
Yeah.
my question is more of like why current speed? Like why
Oh, why is it current?
yeah,
That's
why
just the
current?
name. I
Why
just
does
chose
it
that.
like why does it
It's not the current. It's just like I just chose it randomly. You can just have like I don't know.
You can name it anything. That variable is just to make sure.
Current speed. I just like I just put it for. I don't know what I was thinking.
You can name the variable Daniel. Just make sure that whatever is like used. So if you change the Arnav speed now, over here it should be Arnav speed.
Yeah.
but how like does it like cause later on you have to use it like here, right? So how does it like recognize from this? Cause it's only in this section.
So when we do this, right, we're making a new variable sort of.
Yeah.
So it's like saying that current speed is equal to speed or something like that. So is equal to speed, but like not like this, but basically we're making a variable inside, and then we're assigning it the value here, value that we're passing into the function inside the parameter. Does that make sense?
Okay, think of it like the function is a machine, right?
Yeah.
These variables are like the boxes. And you can't put anything into a box. So the box has to be a specific shape. So here our shape is float.
More confusing.
No, wait.
Okay,
Speed
this
is
is
the
a
thing we
machine.
put inside the box to pass through the machine. The function is
Oh, so it's like okay, I think. Oh, I get it now. Is it cause I can think of this like x or something, right? And
Yeah.
then x equals speed. Is it like
Yeah.
Okay, I get
It's like the
it.
math function.
Okay, can. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. That's okay.
I just see what the question is.
You have play test.
What is your view?
Oh wow. You have play test.
Is the scam one is
yes.
Where did you see it? As in like from the team lah. I'm guessing it will be
Oh yeah, it's a scam.
Scully, I guess scam. But next week is Tuesday, right?
Oh yeah. Next week Tuesday.
Anyone waiting for the Huh? No, it's fine. Go ahead. Guys will stick around. If not, go ahead. Just pretend you never did it. It takes a level of fun. I only play 2 games as my friend. A lot of the games I think are like fun. I just for my friend. Yeah, a lot of things they cannot show. Yeah, that's my passion for it. A lot of the functions are not in Unity. You have to like really go deep. It's about what the next function. If this player and this player, you press the same button at the exact same time. You have to do that kind of if this player disconnects halfway through, what do? Do I pause the game? Do I shut down the log? That kind of thing. That also means you get more power or what you can do with us. Exchange. Which like more and yeah, but it also means that you can as much. But for basic, you also can get
Wow, I was gonna tell you.
So all you need to do is send your friend to the system and just go get it. Then if you want to do anything that's very simple, you just go to the tutorial. They do all the code for you. Yeah, so you can go and search it.
Bro, yesterday, no, I was so drunk. And then I sent it to my friend. I wasn't working. I was sobered up. And then I had to go and finish the bid, bro. I literally drank.
Why are
like-
you drinking while working on the sheet?
Adi fucking
So they
Why is he making you drink
their
before?
own language and they made everything. That's what. It also means that they provide their own servers. So mileage was considered. food, but shouldn't be hot. Go and try. Go and see a lot of tutorials. My advice for game dev is always go and search what you need to do at the moment you're doing it. It's more fun off of it. Who wants cup shirt? Come and take for me.
I took last week already.
Is it the same as
Hey, Cliff. Cliff. I don't have an answer.
Wait. Okay, wait. Who is S?
Yeah, I can take S.
No, I should have a lot.
Wait for free. Oh, wait, you're good. I had to pay $12 for a fish crab. I know. I don't remember.
How many classes are there? How many classes are
I'm so stressed because I get key versus get button.
Oh, this one?
I'm so stressed.
Why?
I thought get key down, get key down takes it only the first frame you have down, right? But get key takes it every frame. I forgot.
You forgot. That's stressful.
Yo, where's the fish?
If it's too small, not like next year.
I think like usually they have they just open the. Or like, okay, like last time, on Sunday, they open